Not just in the tuner culture but also among automobile aficionados worldwide, the Nissan GT-R is considered one of the most iconic nameplates of all time. This cachet and the GT inherent R's abilities have made it possible for Nissan to extend the life of the current generation R35 model, which debuted in the market back in 2009. To be fair, the Japanese car maker has since improved the GT-R, but the basic components, a 3.8-liter V6 engine, 2 turbochargers, a 6-speed dual-clutch transmission, and the Atessa ETS all-wheel drive system remain the same. Nissan Super Coupe previously ruled the automotive world because of these factors, notably its unbelievable Nürburgring lap times. So you must be wondering where this beast is made. How do they make it? Like and subscribe to our channel as we take a walk inside the super factory of the GT-Rs. It all begins at the Yokohama plant, where the mighty VR38 Det is put together. The RB26 and S20 engines from the two previous generations of GT-Rs were built here, making it the ideal location to build the engine for the GT-R. A separate climate-controlled chamber, apart from the automated production lines, is where the MR motors, intended for use on smaller Nissan and Renault automobiles, are made. The most potent production automobile engine Nissan has ever manufactured is made here by a group of Takumi, or specialized experienced workers. Hiroyuki Ichikawa is one of just 5 people qualified to hand-assemble the powerful twin-turbo 3.8-liter V6 found in the Nissan GT-R. Ichikawa, a Takumi, or master craftsman, says that he has built roughly a sixth of the 40,000 or so R35 GT-R engines that have been made so far. Ichikawa casually mentions that he has worked for Nissan for about 35 years, as we wind our way through the enormous engine assembly factory of Nissan in the expansive Yokohama docklands, which assaults the senses with heat and noise. When the endeavor to build the current generation R35 Nissan GT-R began in 2006, Ichikawa proudly claims that he was picked to be a Takumi engine artisan. Even though the massive Nissan engine plant produces an astounding 900 engines daily, Ichikawa's office or clean room is located deep inside the factory and houses the 8 GT-R engines that are currently being produced daily, and not a single robot is to be found. The most important engines for Nissan were being carefully and painstakingly put together by Ichikawa and a few of his co-workers. 5 extraordinarily talented people, or Takumi, tackle each phase of the twin-turbo V6 assembly on the Nissan GT-R with the required discipline and accuracy. One man, one engine Nissan concept makes sure that each Takumi signs their own work, demonstrating their trust in the final result as well as Nissan's. Every manually constructed VR38 Det engine has a plaque with the builder's name on it. Now let's step inside the first room we come across, the VR engine room. This room is nothing like the greater engine plant, which was filled with immense heat and noise. The VR engine room is a calm room with a neutral atmosphere, and the air temperature is set to 23 degrees centigrade through the year. Is this to make the workers feel comfortable? Not exactly. This is to eliminate any chance of expansion or contraction of the aluminum parts, explains Ichikawa. We need to maintain precision throughout the entire year, and therefore guarantee precision in all the engines, he adds. He notes that temperature changes can have an impact on tolerances, since some aluminum components can expand by up to 15 microns, or roughly the size of an ant's toenail. The clean room also has additional distinctions, such as the equipment used. Electric nut runners are employed in their place, since air compression tools from the main assembly line are not accurate enough for the task. The use of the more precise but more expensive electric nut runners has another cool benefit. It eliminates contamination. Dust pollutants are more likely to appear when using air tools. When the prepared VR38 engine block enters the clean room, it is mounted on a rig and built there by a single technician who goes between the various regions of the room where various build procedures are completed. One engine can be constructed in roughly 200 minutes, and there is a daily production rate of 27 engines. There is a fair probability that engine production has increased to keep up with demand now that the GT-R is available for purchase in Europe. The cast aluminum block of the quad-cam 24-valve VR38 Det engine is the first component to receive plasma-sprayed, low-friction cylinder liners. As the pistons pulse through their 4 strokes with fiery ferocity, these function as super-smooth armor coating, iridium-tipped spark plugs, a pressurized lubrication system with a magnesium oil sump, and a pair of IHI RHF55 turbochargers are a few additional fascinating elements of the GT-R engine that drive up the cost of maintenance. Given the beefy bent 6's high power output and expected usage patterns, daily driver during the week, track day apex animal on weekends, and the likelihood for tuning, the VR38 Det must have adamantium-like robustness. Nissan is aware that the GT twin-turbo R's engine will be repeatedly stressed given its peak output of 419 kilowatts at 6,800 RPM. This is especially true when owners use the launch control system to reach 100 km per hour in just 2.7 seconds, which even after more than 10 years still ranks the GT-R among the fastest production cars in the world. This is why we wear cool Nissan clothing, including shoes and a smock, and why access to the workshop floor in the clean room is through a tightly sealed antechamber. When you get inside, you'll notice how spotless and quiet it is, a haven in contrast to the bustling activity of other engine plants. Every use of the nut runner tools is electronically recorded and registered on a central server, and there are 2 Takumi working slowly and methodically. In a contemporary auto factory, such is now common procedure, but because the tools are electric rather than pneumatic, their torque is applied and recorded much more accurately, guaranteeing that each stage of the assembly process is exactly metered out and quantified. In the end, this guarantees superior quality, closer tolerances, greater power outputs, and more dependability. Each Takumi also carries a manual checklist to make sure they cross all their T's and dot all their I's, and you can see the engine builders continually referring to their lists. Once each engine is produced, it is placed on a bench dynamometer where a series of power and torque checks are carried out. At the same time, each engine is put through a break-in cycle which lasts 60 minutes, something that needs to be done to guarantee it will perform as it should straight out of the box. They transport the engine to the testing center after engine assembly so that they can experience driving in a real car. This procedure is used to test all engines. Engine revs from 2,000 to 6,000 RPM. We incrementally check how much power and torque the engine produces at various steps, and only engines that clear the torque goals are shipped off to the Toshigi assembly plant, says a Takumi. The automobiles are then driven onto the well-lit quality control line after this test, when fit and finish, body tolerances, and paint quality are carefully examined. Additionally, the interior, engine compartment, and trunk, as well as the door and trunk functionality, are examined. The automobiles are then taken off the assembly line and positioned to one side of the plant structure, where they await their final inspections. The GT-Rs are rolled out onto the test track, which circles the plant grounds one by one. Here, a team of testers drives the vehicles to make sure everything is operating as it should and to handle various bed-in tasks. These are carried out to break in the GR6 dual-clutch gearbox's clutches and Brembo brakes. To do this, the test driver lines up the cars and accelerates quickly till the top of third gear, at which point he sharply brakes while maintaining his right foot firmly placed on the accelerator. The automobiles are then brought back to the manufacturer for clutch adjustments and tolerance checks after this is repeated a few times. The vehicles have been constructed, tested, and are now ready for pickup. Then it's off to the dealers, where their new owners will receive them. Nissan still advises owners to drive carefully for the first 2,000 kilometers, even though the engine, drivetrain, and brakes have all been properly broken in. I'm sure this would be a torture to do. What will happen next to the revered Nissan GT-R? If everything switches to an all-electric drivetrain to compete with EV sports cars from manufacturers like Rimac and Porsche, the clean room and Ichikawa's crucial function may be put to an end. We try to get more information regarding the next generation R36 Nissan GT-R from Ichikawa to find out if it will keep a 6-cylinder engine and/or add a hybrid module, but he only gives us a balanced response when we ask him if he hopes to work on the next generation model. Yes, if it's possible. There is change in the wings as the Takumi continue their work on the GT-R engine for the foreseeable future. For example, soon we won't be able to refer to the Takumi as master craftsmen, instead craftspeople, as the first female Takumi is currently working through her apprenticeship. Although times are changing, we hope that the signature on the engine will remain unchanged. So which is your favorite model of Nissan GT-R? Ichikawa says his favorite model is the original Nissan Skyline GT-R, the PGC-10 from 1969.